Formula One welcomed 2004 with its own unique blend of glitz and glamour. Once the launches were out of the way, the teams got down to the business of winter testing. Reigning champion Michael Schumacher has no reason to swap Rubens Barrichello for a new teammate. McLaren and Williams retain their strong pairings, but Ralf Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya have a radical new design on their hands to take the fight to David Coulthard, Kimi Raikkonen and, of course, Ferrari. Takuma Sato joins Jenson Button at BAR, while Felipe Massa returns to Sauber with Giancarlo Fisichella. Jarno Trulli and Fernando Alonso are retained by Renault, while Cristiano De Massa and Olivier Panis remain on Toyota's payroll. Rising star Mark Webber is joined by Austrian Christian Klien at Jaguar. Formula 3000 ace Giorgio Pantano joins Nick Heidfeld at Jordan, while Zolt Baumgartner and Gian Maria Bruni complete the lineup at Minardi. And with Australia fast approaching, who's most likely to come out on top?
I think it's no point to talk too much about it. Let's see, mate.
Australia plays host to a sun-drenched first race of 2004, and the PR machine is already in full swing. It's not all fun and games. The serious business of setting up is well and truly underway as the teams prepare their workplace for the weekend in Albert Park. But this is Melbourne, and things are still very relaxed. As always, the drivers take up their positions in front of the cameras. But some are more comfortable there than others. It's not just the drivers who are lapping up the spirit.
It's fantastic. The weather's good, atmosphere's good.
The best atmosphere you'll ever see in the world.
The beer's good, yeah, it's great.
It's your shout.
Yeah.
So who is everyone cheering for?
Webber. Only question. Webber. The rest is mere detail.
Montoya, all the way, son, all the way.
You know the Aussie saying, throw another shrimp on the barbie? Well, let's throw another shroomie on the barbie this year. Forza Ferrari!
New rules for this year restrict teams to one engine per car per weekend. Qualifying is still a one-lap shootout, but both sessions are on Saturday. The winner from the previous race runs first in pre-qualifying. Quickest car from that session runs last in qualifying, and fastest time takes pole position. Parc fermé and refuelling conditions remain the same. Single lap qualifying is not new, but last year's winner David Coulthard is a victim of its unpredictability. He loses it in the final corner, leaving him 12th on the grid. Michael Schumacher is rarely a victim of misfortune. A time of 1 minute 24.408 puts him in pole position once again at the Australian Grand Prix. Teammate Barrichello makes it an all-Ferrari front row, with Montoya and Button not far behind. Race day dawns and the new season is imminent. Launch control is out, but any hope of Montoya chasing the Ferraris is gone in a flash of blue and yellow. Juan outbrakes himself and ends up on the grass and in 8th position, while Alonso sets about halting Michael and Rubens. But they're a dominant force at the front. This sight will not make Giancarlo Fisichella too happy. He may have swapped teams with Heidfeld, but he didn't join Sauber to study the rear wing of a Jordan. He tries pushing him to the limit, but Nick is not fazed and holds his position. Teammate Felipe Massa is having a ball attacking Kimi Raikkonen. Unbelievably, the McLaren is easy prey for the Sauber. While Kimi doesn't take it lying down, his car is not up to the job. A loss of water pressure causes his engine to fail, and he becomes the first retirement of the season. Not the title that McLaren wanted.
For sure, we wasn't expecting to driving on 10th place and not going anywhere. It's for sure disappointing, because we shouldn't be on that position. We should be fighting on the first place, and I think so no one is happy.
Massa hopes his seat at Sauber could open the door to a drive at Maranello, but this spin won't impress anyone. Renault are keen to cut it with the big guys, and Jarno Trulli is keeping one of the biggest at bay. He's been tipped as Michael's most likely nemesis, but things haven't quite gone to plan for Juan Pablo Montoya. Fisichella and Heidfeld are in close company once again, but Giancarlo knows he has the quicker car and won't waste any more time behind the Jordan, no matter how close it gets. At the end of 2000, Williams dropped Button for Montoya, but it's the BAR that has the upper hand for the moment. There's pride at stake here, and the contest is really revving up. Montoya looks to have it easily. They're side by side, but Jensen keeps battling until he runs out of track. Montoya wins, this time at least. Waved blue flags were usually for Pantano's opposition in Formula 3000, but this is the harsh world of Formula 1, and something he'd better get used to. Third-placed Alonso is a man on a mission. He can't hang around if he's to contend with the Ferraris ahead. Williams have not closed the gap on Ferrari. In fact, it's almost a lap difference when Montoya and Schumacher make their final stops. A clutch problem means Heidfeld's gap to his mechanics is non-existent. Fortunately, no one is seriously injured, but Nick's car won't go much further. Ralph had ambitions to go much further, but he's having a quiet race out in 4th. Michael's race looks equally peaceful, but Schumacher Sr. has got the luxury of having everything under control at the front. DC is raring to go this year, but the McLaren doesn't exactly look fighting fit. He should salvage a point, but last year he secured 10. With the old school falling by the wayside, could this be the start of a new era? His challenges may have changed, but it's still Michael Schumacher who takes the flag for the first time this year, and the 71st of his career. Teammate Barrichello is second, making it their 16th 1-2. Alonso finishes a well-deserved third. Getting on the podium at the first race with the Ferraris certainly puts Renault right on track for the rest of the year. Ralph beat his teammate to fourth, while BAR set the foundations to begin their challenge of the top three. Coulthard took the final point, but McLaren have just one to Ferrari's 18. The weather conditions may have been favourable, but the team shows no signs of weakness. Were the drivers allowed to battle it out on track?
No, we had a good half of the race fighting. I mean, the times were incredible. We were doing really good times, and it was just exciting.
We saw Fernando slowing down. We all decided to slow down the pace a bit and save everything you can, because it's obviously new regulation. It's the first race in the season, so the confidence is there, but not maybe as much as if it would be the last race of the season, and therefore you just save everything as much as you can.
If that was a conservative approach from Ferrari, the rest of the field had better watch out in Sepang. Malaysia offers a vibrant fusion of cultures and customs, east and west, and as ever the atmosphere proves hot and sultry. But the sweeping circuit saw several drivers lose their cool in qualifying. Takuma Sato hits a bump and spins at turn 11. It could have been a good lap, but it leaves him with a lot of work on his hands. Another big name at the back is Fernando Alonso. He too was pushing hard, but a mistake at turn 14 sends his Renault into the gravel and leaves him in last place for the race. Michael took pole again, but he's joined by Mark Webber, who gets on the front row of the grid for the first time in his F1 career. It's threatened rain all weekend, and here it is just minutes before the start. Giorgio Pantano falls foul of the one engine per weekend rule and opts to start from the pit lane rather than the back of the grid. The track is dry in places and damp in others. It's going to be a very exciting race. It hasn't even started and already Raikkonen's demonstrating some on-track acrobatics. Kimi recovers his position, but could it be a bad omen for his afternoon? Fernando Alonso will need every good luck charm going to get through from the back of the field if he wants to mix it with the Ferraris. Mark Webber has a slow getaway, elevating Montoya to third, but Jenson Button and Jarno Trulli are set on a collision course. Alonso makes light work of the cars around him, and finally Webber sorts out his start line gremlins, but he's way down the field. Trulli gets ahead of Button, while Sato, who started at the back of the grid, makes progress at Heidfeld's expense. Michael is clear at the front, but Takuma is now hot on the heels of Massa, and Heidfeld's trying to get back in the action. And just in case this isn't enough, there's more rain, but only on parts of the track. Michael takes it steady, but Barrichello's harder compound Bridgestone tyres are not paying off in these conditions. He runs wide, allowing Montoya and Raikkonen to reap the benefits. Now, Juan Pablo is unleashed. He sets about catching the other Ferrari. And before long, he has caught Michael. If only things had been different at the start. Rubens had better watch his mirrors. Button goes round the outside of Trulli as Ralph, Coulthard and Webber exchange hostilities. Fernando Alonso's found himself a piece of the action. He manages to steal 8th from Webber despite starting from the back of the grid. Now Coulthard is in his grasp. How can it have gone so wrong for Mark Webber? Ralf Schumacher takes 9th, but the two make contact, and it's the Jaguar that comes off the worst for wear. Mark suffers a puncture to the right rear tyre, and he will have to stop for repairs. It may have been his best ever qualifying, but this will be a day to forget. It's a weekend to forget for Sato. The team can't believe he made that mistake. Now the action moves to the pits. Barrichello, Raikkonen and Trulli are debating 3rd, 4th and 5th when they make their stops. Every second is crucial. It's Kimi who gets out first. Rubens isn't too far behind, but Jarno has other ideas. The Ferrari has paid dearly for that earlier off. There's plenty of activity further down the field, courtesy of Olivier Panis and Giancarlo Fisichella. A momentary lapse from the Sauber leaves the Toyota right on his tail. Coulthard's gearbox is being hounded by Alonso. But staring at the back of a McLaren isn't where Fernando wants to be, so he goes right round the outside. A shambolic race comes to a premature end for Mark Webber. It looked so promising, but it just wasn't meant to be. Michael and Montoya remain P1 and P2 after the last round of pit stops, but a fuel rig problem for Raikkonen helps Button to leapfrog him when it counts most. And now a top 3 finish is up for grabs. Things are really heating up. Not quite as much as at Williams though. A podium was always going to be a long shot for Ralph, but a retirement was not predicted. It all went downhill when he touched Webber, and now there's a rare BMW failure. BAR know how fickle Formula One can be. Button has been P3 before, and they're not getting carried away just yet. Montoya is still 2nd when he makes his final stop. This is a crucial point in the race. He did not want to rejoin behind Barrichello's late-stopping Ferrari. Juan Pablo and Rubens may be friends, but Montoya won't let that get in the way of the top step of the podium. Everything is getting between Raikkonen and the checkered flag this year. A probable hydraulics problem leaves him on the sidelines again. He expected to be pushing for the championship. Instead, he's shoving a marshal. He's not the only one who's getting annoyed. A radio communication problem for Panis resulted in an unscheduled pit stop and an angry Gallic gesture to the team. A hasty exit costs him a penalty. Sato's departure is just as rapid, but a little more smoky. Surely Button can't be sentenced to more misfortune in Sepang. He's told he must preserve his engine. He can't afford to back off too much as Barrichello's closing him down with every lap. But when the flag falls, it's Michael Schumacher at the front of the field. He wins once again in the sweltering heat of Malaysia. But for John Button, it's as if his son has won the race. For the last 2 years, Button has had a Ferrari behind him and they've overtaken him on the last lap. This year, he stays ahead. Despite his engine woes, he held off Barrichello to the bitter end to make his first visit to the podium. Montoya finished a quiet second, although unimpressed by the tactics of Rubens. Alonso recovered well to finish 7th, and Felipe Massa took his first point of the season for Sauber. This is the moment BAR have been waiting for. How does it feel to finally taste that champagne?
I choked a bit, but no, it's a great feeling, and it's amazing for the whole team. We've worked so hard for this, and it's been a great start of the season. I couldn't have wished for anything else really at the moment.
Round 3 of the Formula One World Championship is in Bahrain, bringing the sport to the Middle East region for the first time. The kingdom combines true Arabian culture and modern-day technology and has an enthusiastic motorsport community led by the Crown Prince Sheikh Salman bin Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. Built on an oasis and former camel farm, the 5.4-kilometre circuit ensures a totally unique setting for a modern Grand Prix. The deal was made in Monza 2002 and work began to construct the circuit in the sand. After 486 days of work, 6 months ahead of schedule, this really is an achievement.
I'm extremely proud. Proud of everybody involved. It's not just me who did this. There were a lot of people who worked extremely hard on it. So, pride at the accomplishment.
It has the official seal of approval from Mr. Eccleston. What about those who are driving the circuit?
Yeah, this is a bit of like a new standard to Formula One, and I think it's great. And I think all the new tracks and places where we're going to go is a bit like that.
I like the circuit. To look at it looks very, very exciting. It feels like it's a bit of, it's half Melbourne, half Sepang, so it's going to be an exciting circuit, I think.
The modern-day interpretations of Arabia might look good for the spectators, but how do the drivers prepare for a new circuit?
We had some simulations in the computer to know a little bit better the track and to know which gears to use in the corners, but for the driver point of view, nothing very different compared with a normal Grand Prix.
The computer can give you a help to start with, but at the end of the day you decide the thing. So I've been running on the circuit this morning, and then you just transpond your guess of the circuit into the speed, and then it's fine.
Does a jog around the circuit help the world champion learn the track?
Not for me, honestly. The preparation I take is to know the infrastructure of the circuit, to know when is what corner, to see maybe some dangerous points where you can damage your car going wide or things like that. And that's I do going around the circuit, and that's it.
Going around the circuit on foot?
Scooter. It's easier.
Thank you.
Perhaps Alonso should have checked out the circuit some more. This off means he'll start at the back of the grid again. As will Kimi Raikkonen, who abandoned his qualifying lap. He would have had a penalty thanks to an engine change on Friday. The team hopes that by changing his tyres and fuel levels, they can optimise his race strategy. Expectations are high as a new era of Formula One flies into action. Race day awakens to a warm welcome from the fans. No one knows what to expect. The Desert Spectacular begins with Michael straight on the pace, but cold brakes and tyres leave him locking up into turn 1 and cutting across his teammate. Rubens is watching his every move, and Juan Pablo fancies a piece of the action. P17 on the grid was bad enough, but a tangle with Christian Klien leaves Alonso needing a new nose cone at the end of lap 1. His retaliation could be very interesting. Klien, however, suffered no ill effects and makes a move on Raikkonen. It doesn't quite work out, but it's not bad to be clashing with the Flying Finn in only his 3rd Grand Prix. But McLaren need to keep their eye on the Jaguar. Now Christian has another go. He very nearly does it, but just loses it at the end. It's not the only scrap on track. Ralf Schumacher and Takuma Sato are squabbling over 4th place. They go into the corner side by side, but Ralf doesn't leave enough space and ends up pirouetting off the track. He crawls to the pits for an inspection. Everything looks fine, and Ralf is told to get on with racing again. Raikkonen's race is going nowhere, though. He gives in to Klien, but he makes sure the team know it was his engine that had given up on him. Some more smoke, more flames, and another Mercedes engine ends in a blazing mess. With Williams and McLaren having a scrappy start to the season, BAR are looking stronger and stronger each race. Button's long first stint put him at the top of the timing pages. But his stop relinquishes the lead to Michael and Ferrari once again. Klien's inexperience catches up with him, or maybe he gets carried away after his scrap with Raikkonen. Either way, his mistake sends him spinning down the order. BAR have had no trouble adjusting to the Michelin tyres for this year. Their 2 cars on track together will impress the sponsors, even if Sato is yet to pit. But it was going too well. Sato runs wide and takes to the curbs heavily. He loses time and may have damaged the car. Yes, he has damaged the front wing. He'll have to stop for a replacement. There's no dawdling at Renault, though. Alonso's made his way through the field after his first lap shenanigans with Klien. Now he's chasing Massa. Flavio can't understand what's stopping him. Eventually, Fernando does it, much to the relief of the team. But there's no let-up for Williams and Ralf Schumacher. Tell an F1 driver to go, and he won't wait to mirror signal and manoeuvre. With Michael leading things at the front, the fans look to the talents of F1's new generation for entertainment. Alonso's getting feisty again. This time it's Webber on the receiving end. But the Jaguar seems to want a lot of track, making things very difficult for the Renault. Surely he'll get him on the pit straight. A mistake into turn 1 from Webber is all Alonso needs. They might both be managed by Flavio, but only one drives for Renault. Sato's recovered well, and he shows Ralph the way to get 2 cars safely through turn 2. Taku passes Coulthard. The McLaren has no response. David Richards keeps an eye on Sato, while a quick stop for Button could get him out in front of Jarno Trulli. The Renault encountered traffic when he needed clear track and cannot do anything about the BAR emerging ahead. That first podium in Malaysia for Jensen seems to have given him an extra boost. Before long, Button has reeled Montoya in. Technical director Jeff Willis can see an opportunity, but knows Juan Pablo is not an easy man to pass. But all is not well with his car. Button goes wide, but he finds Montoya in a generous move. Can it get any better for Jensen? It can't get much worse for Juan Pablo. He has a gearbox problem in the closing stages. He keeps going to salvage some points, but the team had hoped for more from the 3 flyaways. McLaren have also had their hopes dashed. The mechanics were not prepared for a late pit stop from Coulthard and do their best to resolve the situation. But he's lost air in the pneumatic system of the engine, and nothing can be done. DC stops and goes no further. Without reliability, there's no hope of winning a race, never mind a championship. Reliability is something Ferrari have by the bucket load. Michael scores his 3rd victory in 3 races, with Barrichello not far behind. A brand new circuit can't halt his winning ways. It's another perfect 1-2 finish for the team. It's not a mirage. Thanks to Montoya's demise, it's a 2nd podium visit for Jenson Button. He's really showed he can tussle with the best. Sato recovered well to finish 5th in between the 2 Renaults, while Ralph limped home 7th. Michael's brother did not impress his team with his race performance.
Well, bloody mess, really. I mean, he had that bump with Sato, drove in very slowly and lost a lot of time, but too far behind, so not good.
And the verdict on Bahrain?
It was just superb. The welcomeness of the fans, of all the people here was very warm. So it was a very, very nice experience I guess we all had here, and we look forward to come back.
I do like it very much. It's great. It was fantastic. You know, I think it shows how strong we are. We haven't been able to put the race and the qualifying together yet, and hopefully we'll be able to get that in Imola.
Button is looking strong in 3rd place, but Montoya, Alonso and Trulli are not far behind. Williams and BAR tie on 3rd place, and Jaguar get the ball rolling for 2004. The European season arrived with an air of reflection. San Marino marked 10 years since that fateful weekend in May 1994. For many who knew Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna, it makes no difference to the feeling of loss, whether it is 5, 10 or 11 years. But whatever opinions are on the relevance of the date, one cannot deny the impact it had on the sport and particularly the legacy Ayrton Senna left behind.
Well, I guess it's nice to remember what he did. More or less for me, it's come here to celebrate his life and all he did and the time that he won here and everything that we learned with him and everything that we saw. He gave the fans so much enjoyment, and I thought, well, the least I could do is come and revive those lovely years that we passed together.
Senna brought a certain flair and charisma to the sport.
Well, I think he brought a new style. He entered the new era of Formula One. He embraced it. He got other people to embrace it. He was fussy about safety. He was also fussy about making sure that the right image of Formula One. He was a very stylish character, and he brought that Latin American magic with him. And everyone loved going to Brazil. I think he whipped up excitement, and very few sportsmen are able to do that.
He was a very special person. You could see that sometimes he didn't like the fans to get it too close, in a way that if he was talking to you or talking to me, he felt that was a private moment. But he could be very open to them and be a nice guy to them as well. But the best out of him would be with a glass of wine, and then you would see him talking. Because apart from that, he was very quiet, and maybe he didn't want to get emotionally linked to anyone in a way. With a little glass of wine, he was fabulous.
I never met him, but I think he was a very special guy for every Brazilian driver, especially for me. I mean, I think he opened a lot of doors in the Europe and then in the Formula One as well. I really like to be Brazilian. I mean, I love my country, and I think Senna was part of that.
Of course, his immense talent on the track ensures he will never be forgotten. Imola may be the stomping ground of the Tifosi, but it was Jenson Button that set the standard in qualifying to take his first ever F1 pole position. He negotiates the final corner, and the pole is his. Jenson's got to focus 100% on the start lights, even if it is Michael Schumacher filling his mirrors. Michael makes no impression off the grid, while Jenson's pace is mind-blowing. Schumacher closes the gap, but there's contact further back. Coulthard's off in the first corner. Montoya knows he has a tyre advantage at this stage. But you don't win 6 championships without having a ruthless streak. The skirmish leaves Montoya open to attack from the other Schumacher. And it's bound to be a talking point later. At the end of the lap, Button has a stunning 2.7-second lead over Michael. They're followed by Juan Pablo, the quick starting Sato, Ralph and Barrichello. But it's payback time for DC after his start line antics. Taking risks is necessary when starting in the midfield, but contact with Alonso isn't ideal. This is the contest for first place. VAR acts first, bringing Jensen in for his stop, and Michael assumes his usual position at the front. Schumacher is like an animal unleashed and starts lapping 1 second quicker. Have VAR anything to respond with? David Richards knows his man has got to push. And Michael knows exactly what's required of him. After 2 blistering laps, he's into the pits. And Ferrari work as flawlessly as ever. Jensen keeps hammering out the sector times, but the mechanics have already sent Michael on his way. There's absolutely no doubting who the race leader is. You don't need a stopwatch to tell you Michael's fast. Coulthard's misdemeanor at the start has made for a very difficult race. He passes the Jaguar of Cleon, but it's only for 16th. Teammate Kimi Räikkönen started from the back due to an engine change. So instead of challenging Michael for the championship, Kimi is being lapped. Unbelievable luck. Barrichello hasn't had a sparkling race either, dropping places at the start and getting stuck behind traffic. Now he's chasing Ralph and leaves the Ferrari mechanics to work their magic on his car. But it's one dispute the team haven't won. Ralph stays ahead of Rubens, causing a rare moment of introspection for Ferrari. Trulli was 2 seconds behind the squabbling duo, but has he done enough to challenge after his stop? Not quite, but he will be making life difficult for Rubens. Another blow to Ferrari. He's not the only Renault Rubens has to deal with. Fernando Alonso is on the prowl. The third round of pit stops will be crucial. Poor qualifying left Alonso 6th on the grid, and Coulthard's mistake pushed him down to 9th. But now the gap has closed and 4th could be within reach. Ralph keeps his position, but Alonso gains a comfortable margin over his teammate and starts hounding the Williams. Alonso makes his move to the inside and stays there, leaving Ralph to take in the scenery. Another costly loss of championship points for the team. And a troubled race comes to a smoky end for Takuma Sato, with only a handful of laps to go. The marshals may struggle to find his car with all that smoke. The only thing Michael Schumacher has to look for is the checkered flag. The fact that Jean Todt and Michael are both ambassadors for the Republic of San Marino makes this win even more special. It's a phenomenal start to the season for Ferrari. Button's best result elevates BAR to third in the Constructors, while Renault retain their 100% reliability record. Kimi Raikkonen takes his first point of the season, albeit one lap down. BAR take another step closer to their first victory, while Ferrari aim for a clean sweep.
As sweet as ever, 74 victories for Michael Schumacher.
But there'll be no hugs and kisses between Michael and Juan Pablo.
I mean, I saw his attack on the outside at braking, but then going around the corner, for me it was... First of all, I didn't see him, but second, outside around the corner, you usually lose ground, so I didn't really expect him to be there anymore.
That, you know, I'm amazed. I actually got in front of him when we were braking a little bit. Oh, no, he didn't see me there. Well, no chance. You know, you gotta either be blind or stupid to not see me, but, you know, it's racing.
Jensen, you're watching the pictures there on the TV. Can we just gain a neutral perspective on this and get your...
I missed it. I didn't see that part. I think I was looking away at that point.
The Catalan capital of Barcelona welcomes F1 with bright sunshine and blue skies. But Ron Dennis comes to Spain with a lot on his mind. 2004 hasn't exactly been a vintage year. McLaren have only 5 points to Ferrari's 64. Happy memories like this must seem but a distant memory. Kimi, in particular, has been beset with technical problems at every race.
It's not my fault. If some parts are not lasting, I cannot do anything else. I just try to drive as fast as I can, and that's really all.
Bahrain was one of their worst races for some time. Kimi had an engine change on Friday, abandoned his lap on Saturday, then neither car finished the race on Sunday.
Reliability has been marginal relative to some of our competitors over the last few years. Ferrari have been the benchmark and they've been phenomenal, and we haven't achieved that, and it is achievable, and that's obviously what we have to work on. But the difficulty is when you're playing catch-up in performance, that becomes your primary goal, and we need to find the performance to then work on reliability.
The solution?
Everybody's working as hard as they can to try to improve the situation and our position, but the things are not happening overnight. It's going to take more than 2 weeks or 4 weeks before we get back on a good shape, and until that we just need to try to do the best job with the things what we have now, and it's like this sometimes.
Jenson Button also had problems. He was P1 in Imola, P14 in Barcelona. What happened?
The first sector was good, and I came to the top of the hill, turned in, and everything was fine. And as I got to the apex, and then if it was wind or if it was just the car balance, I got a snap of oversteer. But it was looking like a strong lap. We definitely would have been up the front, but nowhere near Michael.
The nearest man was Juan Pablo Montoya. Can he get even closer?
First of all, you know, with the manual starts, you need to get a good start. If we do get a good start, we got to run on him. Maybe, you know, you got to try, but it's not going to be easy.
Everyone is expecting trouble with Michael and Juan Pablo at the front of the grid. But no, Montoya gets a terrible start. It's Jarno Trulli who makes the dream getaway, with Takuma Sato not far behind. Now Trulli takes the lead from Schumacher. Front row advantage gone in seconds. Trulli leads the field ahead of Michael, Sato, Montoya, Barrichello and Spain's favourite Fernando Alonso. But the man the crowds have turned up to see seems to be fighting his own car rather than those ahead. Montoya has overcome his start line demons and starts closing in on Sato. Ross Brawn doesn't have an easy task trying to get Michael ahead of Jarno. Michael starts reeling in the Renault, but the circuit to Catalunya presents few overtaking opportunities. A fact not lost on Ferrari. But Trulli makes things easier and pits before the world champion. The team turn him around pretty quickly, but just like Imola, Michael ups the pace. If it can't be done on track, wait for the pit stops and let the strategy do the work. It's going to be very close. But Michael just does it. While Jarno tries to even the score, Alonso in the other Renault has his eyes on Sato ahead. Being lapped left Baumgartner in a spin. Now the Alonso-Sato squabble for third goes to the pits. Fernando is in first. But when Takuma follows him one lap later, he finds himself following him on the track when he rejoins. Rubens is using his two-stop strategy to maximum effect. It's taken him from 5th to 2nd behind his teammate. But Nick Heidfeld has another dismal weekend in the Jordan, retiring with a hydraulics-related gearbox problem. Things are no better for Williams. The team took a gamble with the brakes in a bid for aerodynamic improvement, but it was a risk too far. Montoya nearly took his jackman out. He's okay, but his race is well and truly over. It's 10 years since Coulthard debuted in F1, and it must feel that long since his last win, as he's lapped by Alonso. Teammate Raikkonen is brushed off just as easily by the local hero. But there's always one man who comes out smiling. Even with a cracked exhaust, he takes his 75th victory at his 200th Grand Prix, with teammate Barrichello second. The Renaults crossed the line almost together, despite truly being under tremendous pressure. Although the fans wanted the other Renault on the podium. Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas looked pleased with the result, but no more than this man. Once again, the Ferrari and Bridgestone combination proved invincible. The two Renaults finished up behind the Ferraris, although the local boy just missed out on a podium. Fisichella scores his first points of the year, but all the post-race talk concerned those starts from Trulli and Sato.
I thought I got a quite good start. I overtook Montoya and slightly better than Michael. And then, but Jarno is just, it's just flying, but I don't know how they do that.
My reaction time was exactly the same as the green flag, and actually was nearly a jump start. And it was good because we were pulling away. This gave me a good gap, which I could then manage for the rest of the race. Unfortunately, on Barrichello, I couldn't do much. But anyway, it's a great result.
However, Williams' attempts for a good finish backfired.
Well, the front teams do automatically all that's their psychology in order to extract every tenth of a second. And most times they get it right. And I would suggest that most times we get it right, but today we sort of caught with our pants down, I guess.
The beautiful setting of the French Riviera may be a joy for the fans, but racing in Monaco has always been a logistical nightmare for the teams. They traditionally had much of their equipment based up in the hills outside Monaco, as garage space was very limited, particularly for the smaller teams. Cars would have to be towed down to the pit lane for every session. For this year, the pit lane is on the other side of the garages and is 2 meters wider than before. It also provides an excellent view of the track and harbour. Sporting manager for Renault, Steve Nielsen, takes us on a tour of the new garage complex.
Okay, here we are in the pit box. As you can see, it's a fairly normal setup. We've got our 3 race cars. Race car here, the spare car which is currently out being used for a photo shoot, and pieces of another car behind you because that's not quite finished yet. Painted the floor when we arrived. We put all our normal pit panelling up. Mechanics toolboxes and computers and all the normal stuff, starter motors. The rest of the stuff is at the back, and we can now go upstairs and have a look at the engineer's office. Here we are on the first floor of the pit building, up in the composite spares area. We've got engine cover ducts here, spare engine covers here and under trays. We bring spares for all parts of the car with us. Smaller parts are through there, and now we're going through into the race engineer's office where the chassis and engine engineers work on setup of the car. We have meetings, debriefs and driver briefings are all held here. As you can see, we have a perfect view of the pit lane from the first floor here, and this is indeed where we have our race engineers stand. We have chassis engineers and chief engineers working on here during the race, and the whole strategy of the race is run from here. We have the data displayed on the screens, the pictures, the times and everything. This is exactly the piece of equipment we normally have on the pit wall.
Is it a success?
It's really largely much as a normal race, other than the setting, of course, and the proximity of being right in the centre of a city. The new pit complex has made it more sensible place for us to work in. We don't have to push the cars from the top to the bottom every time, and you know, we operate in one place with all our kit and people in one place, and it's very nice.
It's obviously worked well as Jarno Trulli takes pole position alongside the harbour. He's been criticised for his race pace in the past. Has Jarno got what it takes to stay at the front? The sun is shining as the formation lap gets underway, but not on Olivier Panis. The start is aborted because the Toyota has stalled. For once, neither of the Ferraris are on the front row. It's going to take a good strategy to get them ahead. But tactics have gone out of the window for Olivier now. He'll start from the pit lane. 19 cars are ready on the grid. Will the delay cause problems for anyone else? Sato sets off like lightning, clipping Michael's Ferrari on the way past. The Renaults made their usual cracking start, but they're being hassled by the BARs. Trulli leads Alonso, Button, Sato, Raikkonen, Michael, Barrichello, Coulthard, Montoya, and Baumgartner's struggling at the back. There's smoke from Sato's car. He could be in trouble, but he's not pulling over. The Renaults are stretching away from Button, while there is quite a queue forming behind the other BAR of Sato. Something is definitely wrong. Yes, indeed. That is a very sick engine. Kimi gets past, but there are plumes of smoke all over the track. And now there's a car upside down. It looks like the Sauber of Fisichella. The mechanics are suitably concerned. Giancarlo looks fine. He's out of the car and walking. He was very lucky. It'll take some time to clear the track, so the safety car is coming out. The Honda engine expired spectacularly. This is what Kimi saw. He wisely moved to the right, but Fisichella launched off the back of Coulthard and flipped right over. Taking the McLaren out of the running as well. While Taku takes it all in his stride. The race gets going again, and Michael has moved up to 5th, but Ferrari are left scratching their heads. Alonso sees a green flag as an opportunity to put his teammate under pressure. Ferrari still have no answer to the blue and yellow cars ahead. Trulli is really flying, but will he break his unlucky streak? Raikkonen avoided the earlier carnage, but misfortune never seems far away. The team bring him in for checks, but they choose to retire him due to a hydraulics problem. It's another non-finish for McLaren. Montoya will be hoping for an improved McLaren package when he joins them next year, but for now he's got his work cut out, trying to pass Nick Heidfeld for 7th. The Jordan is going well and could score points for the first time this season. Montoya makes the move, and now Massa has the final points position in his grasp. Juan Pablo may be clear, but he's almost a lap down on the leaders. It's still a Renault 1-2, but Flavio is unimpressed by Nick Heidfeld's unwillingness to let the leaders through. It's a tense time. Lapping back markers can be a risky business. Trulli and Alonso get through. Now third-placed Michael is on the case. But he will have an advantage. There's no mistaking a Ferrari in the mirrors. Button is now fourth, giving it all he's got. But Alonso has lost everything. He exits the tunnel back to front and is absolutely furious to crash out of second place. The mechanics can't believe it either. A coming together with Ralf Schumacher has maximum impact. And in case he didn't make his feelings quite clear enough, the incident brings out the safety car, bunching up the field once again. Michael leads as Trulli and Button have made their second stops. The safety car is in this lap. Everyone gets ready to race again. But Michael exits the tunnel in a wrecked car. He was warming up his tyres and collided with Montoya, who is a lap down. The world champion is out for the first time this year. A rare sight indeed. How did such a bizarre accident occur?
What happened is that basically Juan drove in the back of myself, and that was the reason that he spun me around and I hit the wall afterwards.
While Michael hits the wall again, Trulli regains control of the race. His nearest rival is Button, who has no problems lapping Juan Pablo Montoya before setting off on his chase. Someone could win their first Grand Prix. Will it be Jensen who claims the streets of Monte Carlo? Or can Jarno hold off his charge? Jensen is hounding the Renault. With few places to pass, he'll have to hope Jarno makes a mistake. Button keeps pushing. But he is another victim of back markers. BAR really want this win, but then so does Trulli. It's a mesmerising contest to the end. But Jarno holds Jensen off to take his first ever F1 victory. He's the only man other than Schumacher to win a race this season. His former teammate is second, and Barrichello celebrates his birthday with third place. It's been 8 long years, but will it guarantee a race seat at Renault next year? Panis, De Matter and Heidfeld all finished in the points for the first time in 2004. But in Monaco, it's all about Jarno Trulli.
It's amazing at the moment. I'm so happy for me, for everybody, for all those people which have been supporting me. I've been waiting for so long, and it came the best race in Monaco.
Michael still leads the championship, but the win elevates Trulli ahead of his teammate. Sauber leap ahead of McLaren, and only Minardi are yet to score. The first of the back-to-back races means it's only a week since Monaco. Jarno Trulli is still riding high after his maiden pole and victory at the glittering street circuit. While the buzz continues for Renault, Michael will want to put the last race behind him. But he'll have to keep an eye on Takuma Sato, who lines up second. He's the first Japanese driver to start a Grand Prix from the front of the grid, and he's a very happy man. It's a career first for Taku, but pole number 60 for the German fans' favourite. Coulthard has a fight on his hands. An engine change on Saturday means he starts from the back of the grid on a two-stop strategy. Sato has to catch Michael and keep Trulli behind. The Renault gets away best, but Taku makes a late surge. Beating your teammate is one thing, but being taken out by Montoya in the first corner will really put Ralph's nose out of joint. The contest for second reaches a higher level. BAR want to chase the runners-up spot in the Constructors' Championship, so Trulli ending the lap 7th will help their cause. DC kept out of trouble at the start, and at the end of the lap, he's up to 9th, despite being heavy on fuel. If reliability's on his side, he could score some valuable points. Michael has pitted and now lies 4th, but everyone is stuck behind Raikkonen. But after his pit stop, it's clear that Kimi has a problem. He slows and pulls off the circuit. Kimi suffers yet another morale-sapping engine failure on lap 10. McLaren are making progress with their speed, but they need to finish races. Renault have got problems with their favourite driver's car. All Fernando can do is try to protect his position when a problem causes him to go off the track at turn 4. David Richards watches the Battle of the Brits. Coulthard has been nowhere near the BAR this year, but he has made good use of a strategy that has brought him back into play, rather than at the back of the grid. Olivier Panis makes his stop for fuel and tyres. He hopes to repeat his point success of Monaco and is having a good run after qualifying 10th. But he doesn't see the blue flags and nearly takes the race leader out. Ron Dennis is forced to put on a brave face at yet another Mercedes engine failure. The all-too-familiar sight of a smoking McLaren ends a good attempt by DC. Not good PR at the home of their engine manufacturers. Since his first lap mishap, Montoya has been pretty quiet. Now he's in combat with Christian Klien for 10th. But passing the Jaguar isn't as easy as it should be. BAR encourage their drivers to take every opportunity they can and race until the checkered flag. Sato doesn't shirk from a fight and now is challenging second-place Barrichello. But there goes a podium finish, and a new front wing will be required. It's Honda's 40th anniversary race, and the team want a strong result. But all they get is a blown engine down the pit straight. Such bad luck with just 13 laps to go before the end of the race, and the frustration is all too clear. Michael Schumacher escapes such problems, and once again he takes the checkered flag before anybody else. Jenson Button is third, although it's a bittersweet result for the team when the podium was so close to being Taku's. So it's another perfect result for Ferrari. Alonso got his Renault to the finish just behind his teammate, despite his problems. Ferrari's victory was particularly poignant in the light of the death of Fiat boss Umberto Agnelli.
I think it was great to have this success to dedicate it to the loss of Umberto. And obviously we all shocked about when we heard the news, but I'm pretty sure that if he can see or hear us, he will be very happy with what we do. I mean, he has been a fighter in all respect, and he has always supported us. So I hope we have been able to give something to him.
Win number 173 for the Scuderia would have made Agnelli very proud. Monaco is the glitzy circuit for the rich and famous. The Nürburgring provides a relaxing break, but Montreal offers a party atmosphere for all. The Canadian Grand Prix sees Jordan's first all-German lineup. Third driver Timo Glock steps up to replace Giorgio Pantano, who does not participate due to personal circumstances. Despite no experience of one-lap qualifying, Timo managed 16th, just behind teammate Nick Heidfeld and ahead of Takuma Sato. Taku tried to make up for a mistake early in the lap, but missed part of the chicane, hit the curb and got in a spin, narrowly missing the infamous Wall of Champions. He had the speed to deliver, but has made his life tough for Sunday. And bizarrely, Ferrari also have their work cut out.
All weekend we've had a very, very good tyre for consistency, but it's been a little bit of a struggle on the first lap. That hurt us a bit today. Both drivers had difficult laps and cost us the better qualifying positions. The only point of optimism is it is a very good race tyre.
Ferrari keep a positive outlook. They may need to from 6th and 7th. That leaves Ralf Schumacher and Jenson Button to lead the cars onto the grid for what will be a very thrilling race. Trulli's off, chasing the front runners. No, he's not. As Jarno crawls to a halt, both Jaguars and a McLaren make contact, sending cars everywhere. Kimi Räikkönen's having difficulty keeping Michael back in 6th. While Ralf is pulling away from Button, Alonso, Montoya, Michael, who's now 5th, Kimi and Rubens. But a puncture caused by the first lap crash forces Webber to make an early stop. Kimi couldn't resist Michael's advances, and now Barrichello has designs on 6th. The McLaren is looking on better form than previous races, but is it up to fighting Ferrari just yet? Rubens is very persistent. and forces him to yield. Whereas Jarno has no words to explain what happened to him. Kimi's first stop should leave him 9th. But crossing the pit lane exit is forbidden. Raikkonen slips up and will get a penalty for that later. Mark Webber's rear suspension problems get worse and he retires on safety grounds. Up at the front there have been several different leaders. The latest, Fernando Alonso, relinquishes the lead when he makes his stop, leaving the Ferraris on their 2-stop strategy to scrap with each other. Rubens is chasing Michael. How far is he prepared to push the reigning champion? Ferrari know that Alonso could be a real threat in 4th, despite his 3-stop strategy. But they can breathe a sigh of relief when he pulls off the track with a drive shaft failure. That's not a sigh of relief from Briatore. The team remains 2nd in the championship, but it's their first double retirement of the season. Ralf Schumacher hasn't featured at the front too often this year, so Ferrari keep a close eye on his 3rd pit stop. Michael should take the lead, but will it be Rubens or Ralf chasing him? It's been a while since it's been Schumacher versus Schumacher to the finish. It's not the only war that Williams is fighting. Not for the first time this year, Montoya's engaged in a feud with Jenson Button. This time, 4th place is the prize. Button was in front at pit entry and he leads the way back out on track thanks to a slow-to-release fuel hose for Juan. Fisichella might be a lap down, but he's running a strong 6th on a 2-stop strategy, just like the Ferraris. But things have gone from bad to worse for his teammate Felipe Massa. He set no time in qualifying thanks to a puncture. Now he's just a passenger to a terrifying accident. Fortunately, he only needs a precautionary medical checkup. One man who rarely misses the end of the race is Michael Schumacher. Ralf is a close 2nd and Barrichello is 3rd. It might not be an all-Ferrari finish, but it is an all-Schumacher 1-2. For once, Ralf gets to celebrate with his big brother, but the FIA want to talk to him. No words are necessary for Ferrari. They don't even need to start on the front row to dominate the race. Both Williams and Toyotas are disqualified for technical infringement. Jordan is the main beneficiary, especially Timo Glock, who scores a point on his F1 debut. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is a sporting institution, and a few legends turned out for the event. But it's a swift turnaround from Montreal to Indianapolis, and 2 teams want to forget the previous weekend just as quickly. Toyota and Williams were disqualified from the final results due to technical irregularities on their brake ducts.
You know, it's racing. You know, it is when you make a mistake, you made a mistake, and you gotta pay for it. You know, team made a mistake, and we gotta pay for it. The same thing. I said to Frank, he said, you know, you made a mistake, and you gotta learn from it. Like when I make a mistake, and that's it.
Montoya tells it like it is, while the timing pages do the talking at Ferrari. For the first time this season, Rubens manages to out-qualify Schumacher. He takes his 10th career pole to head a Ferrari 1-2, leaving Michael to ponder what went wrong in his 2nd sector. Michael thinks he's got problems in P2. Juan Pablo's out of the car only seconds before the start of the formation lap. He runs to the pit lane for the spare car, but time is against him. T-car or race car? The clock is ticking for Juan. Will he have made the change in time to rejoin the race without incurring the wrath of the stewards? Teammate Ralph awaits the start, but immediately loses 6th to last year's pole sitter Kimi Räikkönen. Now Ralph had better watch out. Fernando Alonso's coming through. He started 9th and gets up to 3rd, while the BARs are going backwards. There's trouble at the back. D'Amato brakes suddenly, and Klian has nowhere to go. Massa and Pantano are the innocent victims. The race is barely minutes old, and already the safety car is out. Fernando passed 5 cars by turn 1. Can he pass the Ferraris when the race restarts? Barrichello hasn't got his tyre pressures up, and with a long pit straight, Michael uses the slipstream from his teammate to snatch the lead. Schumacher may have most of the luck, but Ferrari like to see their drivers push each other to the limit. Flying starts are no good when you get a puncture. Alonso escapes unharmed after picking up debris from the track. But his second retirement in a week is a huge setback for the team. Now Ralph's in trouble. A left rear puncture spears him backwards into the wall, knocking him briefly unconscious and nearly taking Webber out. Ferrari seek a tactical advantage by bringing Michael in for fuel and tyres, while the younger Schumacher wonders what happened. Michael realises the severity of the accident and turns his thoughts to his younger sibling. Ralph receives the undivided attention of the medical team. A second Michelin puncture in only a matter of minutes puts the tyre company under scrutiny. He appears bruised and shaken and is taken to the Speedway's medical centre for observation. Williams and Michelin look for clues to the incident from the wreckage. With the area all clear and Ralph on his way to hospital, Williams pin their hopes on getting Montoya back in the action. BAR get ready for Sato. He didn't use either safety car period to make a stop and had climbed to 2nd, so he'll have to fight to get his position back. The Japanese driver is really fired up today. Now, 9th place Coulthard is his next victim. But his teammate faces an early pack-up thanks to a gearbox problem. Sato gets on with the job of passing the Sauber of Fisichella, and Jensen rues his first retirement of the season.
The pace of the car when we got on new tyres was unbelievable. We could overtake people out of corners, which is really unusual. So the car's very quick here, and I think it's the quickest car on the circuit.
Sato demonstrates just how quick by passing the Toyota of Panis for 4th. While Chris Dyer at Ferrari gives Michael his instructions. Once Michael verifies his actions, the team can get on with their work. It's a routine operation they practice meticulously, and this one runs like clockwork. So when Rubens makes his stop, he rejoins behind the world champion. Barrichello had wanted more from the North American races, so he'll be very disappointed. The team rules are clear. The drivers can race until the last round of pit stops. Then it's game over. Montoya's time is also up. He's black flagged for not leaving the grid within the requisite 15 seconds prior to the start of the formation lap, after his race car failed before the start. Webber avoided Ralph's earlier accident, but picked up debris from his car. Now an oil leak waves a fiery goodbye to his race. Sato continues his crusade. He sees an opportunity to take third at Trulli's expense. BAR are Renault's main rivals, and defeat is not a popular word in Flavio's dictionary. Rubens may have been fastest all weekend, but it's Michael that takes the all-important win. But the biggest cheer goes to Takuma, who takes to the podium for the first time.
It's very, very good. Brilliant, brilliant job.
It's great feeling. I mean, obviously the fans are so enthusiastic here. We had so many support from the fans, and you know, obviously Ferrari won today, but end of the day we could earn the third place as my personal best result. That was fantastic.
Indy sees a high attrition rate, but Zolt Baumgartner is the first Hungarian driver to score a point in F1. Minardi's first since Australia 2002. Michael has almost full marks, and Sato jumps ahead of Ralph. Ferrari have more than double the points of second place Renault, and Minardi are off the mark in 10th.